Before we begin, what you're about to hear is a true story that could save your child's life. Pay attention to the warning signs we'll discuss, because sometimes the smallest changes mean everything. What happens when a dog who's never missed a walk suddenly refuses to go? And what if that refusal is the only thing standing between a child and something nobody saw coming? David Chin had his coffee at the same spot every morning. Kitchen window, 7:15. He'd watch his grandson Marcus take Bailey down the driveway to the mailbox. The kid was 4, the dog was a 6-year-old golden retriever who'd been part of their family since she was 8 weeks old. Marcus lived with them now, had been for 8 months. His daughter Rebecca worked nights at the hospital, long shifts, and she needed somewhere safe for her son until she could afford a house with a yard. David and Linda didn't mind. The house felt less empty with a kid running around. Nobody planned the morning walks. Bailey whined at the door one Tuesday, and Marcus grabbed the leash before anyone could stop him. He was still in his pajamas. Linda started to say something, but David shook his head. The boy needed this. Turned out he really did. Marcus talked to Bailey the whole way there and back, told her about the weather, about what they were going to have for breakfast, about whether there might be any interesting mail. The dog listened like she understood every word. Maybe she did. 53 steps to the mailbox, David counted one morning when he had nothing better to do. 53 steps back. Every single day for months. Rain, cold, didn't matter. That walk happened. Until it didn't. Wednesday morning, October. Marcus came to the door like always. Bailey got up from her bed, tail going. Everything looked normal. Marcus opened the door and stepped out. Bailey walked up to the threshold and stopped. Wouldn't go any further. David put his coffee down. This wasn't right. "Come on, Bailey," Marcus said. He tugged on the leash, gentle. The dog sat. Linda walked into the kitchen. "What's going on?" "Dog won't move." They watched Marcus try everything he could think of. He sat next to her and explained they needed to check the mail. He pulled out a treat from his pocket. He walked away a few steps and called her name. Bailey looked at him, didn't budge. 15 minutes of this before Marcus came back inside crying, "Bailey doesn't want to be my friend anymore." Linda picked him up. "She's probably just tired, sweetheart." But Thursday was the same. Friday, too. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Every morning Marcus tried. Every morning Bailey planted herself at that door and refused to walk. Now here's what most people don't know about children and medical conditions. According to the CDC, over 200,000 children in the United States have type 1 diabetes, and thousands of cases go undiagnosed until a child ends up in the emergency room. The signs can be so subtle that even the most attentive parents miss them. The rest of the time, Bailey was fine. She ate, played in the backyard, came when you called her, just wouldn't do the morning walk with Marcus. And Marcus? He was changing too, but so gradually that nobody connected it to anything serious. David called Dr. Patterson on Monday afternoon. She'd been Bailey's vet since the beginning. "Bring her in. We'll figure it out." The exam showed nothing wrong. Hips, heart, eyes, all good. Dr. Patterson had Bailey run around the room, jump up on the bench, sit, stay. Perfect. "She's healthy, David. I don't see any physical problems." "Then why won't she walk with my grandson?" Dr. Patterson thought about it. Dogs pick up on things, changes, dangers, even medical problems in people they're close to. Anything different with Marcus lately? No, he's fine. Well, he was before this started. That night,
David tried walking Bailey himself. She went with him just fine. Down to the mailbox, back, no issues.
Linda tried the next morning. Same thing. Bailey walked perfectly. Marcus took the leash, and the dog wouldn't leave the porch. After a week, Marcus stopped crying about it. That was worse, somehow. He'd stand there with the leash for exactly 1 minute. David timed it, then hang it back up and walk away. Didn't say anything, just walked away. And here's where the warning signs started becoming obvious, if only someone had known what to look for. Marcus was eating less, moving less. He'd stopped playing with his trucks, stopped asking to color, stopped building those elaborate block towers that used to take him an hour to make. He just sat on the couch and stared. These are 3 critical warning signs every parent and grandparent should know. Unusual fatigue in a normally active child, decreased appetite when they usually eat well, and unexplained lethargy or lack of interest in activities they once loved. Rebecca called every night. "How's my boy?" "He's good," Linda said. She was lying. "He's depressed," Linda told David one night. That dog meant everything to him. David had been thinking, what if Patterson was right about Bailey sensing something? Sensing what? No idea, but that dog's never been wrong about anything important before. If you've ever had a pet that seemed to sense something was wrong before you did, drop your story in the comments below. You might be surprised how many people have experienced this. Next morning, David went outside, stood in the driveway while Marcus opened the door, and Bailey took her usual position. He walked the whole route slowly, checked every crack in the asphalt, looked at the mailbox, watched the road, cars going by like always, neighbors heading to work, nothing unusual, nothing dangerous. He came back and looked at Bailey, really looked at her. The dog's eyes had something in them, not defiance, something else. "What is it, girl?" he said quietly. Her tail thumped once. That afternoon, David called Dr. Patterson again. "I need you to check Marcus." "For what?" "Don't know, but that dog knows something." Silence on the line. Then, "Bring him tomorrow." Linda thought he'd lost his mind. Rebecca, when he told her, said pretty much the same thing. "Dad, you can't put a 4-year-old through medical tests because your dog won't take a walk." David insisted anyway. His father used to say something that stuck with him. When you rule out everything else, whatever's left has to be the truth, even if it sounds crazy. The tests started simple. Height, weight, temperature, all normal. Dr. Patterson listened to Marcus's heart, checked his ears and throat. "He's healthy, David." "Check his blood sugar." "Why would I?" "Just check it, please." The finger prick made Marcus tear up, but he didn't pull away. They waited for the beep. Dr. Patterson's expression changed. She ran it again, then once more. "David, this is 43. That's dangerously low. Should be 70 to 100. Everything went quiet for a second. "What does that mean?" "It means we need more tests right now." 3 hours later, they had the answer. Type 1 diabetes. Marcus's pancreas had stopped making insulin, probably over the last few weeks. The tiredness, not eating much, all of it. Everyone had thought he was just sad about Bailey. "If we hadn't caught this," Dr. Patterson said, "he could have gone into ketoacidosis. That's life-threatening." David sat down. "How did nobody notice?" "Because it came on gradually, and you thought it was emotional. Happens all the time. Most kids end up in the ER before anyone realizes." She paused. "What made you bring him in?" "The dog," David said. Dr. Patterson nodded. "I've been doing this 26 years. I've seen dogs detect seizures before they happen, smell cancer nobody found yet. They can sense chemical changes through scent, changes so small the person doesn't even notice." She knew something was wrong with him. More than that, she was protecting him. That walk required energy. For a kid with low blood sugar, physical activity can cause a dangerous drop. Bailey wasn't being stubborn. She was keeping Marcus from doing something that could hurt him. Now, if you're finding value in this story, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps us share more true stories like this one that could make a real difference in someone's life. David drove home with insulin, a glucose monitor, instructions, appointments. Linda cried when she heard. Rebecca left work and drove 2 hours to get there. That evening, after Marcus learned how to test his blood sugar and got his first insulin shot, after Rebecca held him and apologized through tears, after Linda made dinner following all the new rules, Marcus walked to the door.
Bailey lifted her head. Marcus picked up the leash. The dog got up and walked over, tail wagging. David held his breath. Marcus opened the door. Bailey stepped onto the porch, then the driveway. Marcus followed. They walked to the mailbox, 53 steps. David watched from the window, crying, as they came back home. Bailey's tail never stopped. "She knew the whole time," Linda whispered. "And she kept trying to tell us," David said. Marcus grew up managing his diabetes, learned to test his blood sugar, count carbs, recognize when something was off. Bailey lived another 7 years, and every single morning she walked with him. If his sugar dropped too low, she'd refuse to move until he ate something and tested again. Dr. Patterson said Bailey had basically trained herself as a diabetic alert dog. Some dogs just have the instinct, and when they love someone enough, they act on it. Research has shown that dogs can detect blood sugar changes through scent with remarkable accuracy. They smell chemical compounds in our breath and sweat that change when glucose levels drop or spike. Some dogs, like Bailey, do this naturally without any formal training. David knew it was more than instinct. It was love, the kind that doesn't quit, that keeps trying to get through even when nobody's listening, that protects without asking for anything in return.
People talk about what makes a family: blood, paperwork, shared addresses. But David learned that autumn that family is also about paying attention, about trusting that the ones who love us might see what we've missed, about listening even when the message doesn't come in words. Bailey never got an award. She was just a dog who loved a boy and wouldn't let him walk into danger even when nobody else could see it. So here's what you need to remember from this story. 3 warning signs that could save a child's life: unusual fatigue in a normally active child, decreased appetite when they usually eat well, and unexplained lethargy or lack of interest in their favorite activities. If you notice these signs, especially if they appear together, talk to your doctor. Trust your instincts. And if you have a pet acting strangely, don't dismiss it. They might be trying to tell you something critical. Sometimes the biggest acts of love are quiet. Sometimes they look like stubbornness. Sometimes they come from places you'd never expect. And sometimes, if you're lucky enough to pay attention, you hear them in time. If this story touched you or taught you something valuable, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a story that matters. And in the comments below, I want to hear from you. Have you ever had a pet that sensed something was wrong before you did? Share your story. You never know who might need to hear it. Your experience could save someone's life.